Hello. We're off. So I just had a quick 15-minute break. Enough time to sort myself out. Get myself for the last 44 miles in. Then all I've got to do is have a half hour when I'm there and head back down the road. But I want to talk about truck drivers' health. And for those of you that are either new to the industry or thinking about joining the industry, think hard about what I'm going to tell you next. And I'm a fun one to talk because I'm a fat bastard. You know, I've got to shed some timber. But I was on to become one of the statistics that I'm about to read out to you. Now the first one is well, just to reiterate, driving a truck is not a healthy way of life. Tramping is not a healthy way of life. At all. So half of all truck drivers smoke. Now I don't smoke, never have done. I've tried it, didn't like it, and no, I don't smoke. But half of all truck drivers, and we all know, even the hardcore smokers know that it's likely to kill them. You know, they know that. Can they do anything about it? Well, it's a struggle because nicotine is a strong habit to kick, isn't it? You know, we all know that as well. £14 a packet. I would have thought that would have been a fairly good incentive. But yeah, half of all truck drivers smoke. 28% all have. 28% of all truck drivers have high blood pressure. And if you equate that to someone who works in manufacturing, they only have only 17%. So it's a fair bit higher than most normal folk. 25% of all truck drivers have high cholesterol, as opposed to 16% of those that are not truck drivers. 10% of all truck drivers have diabetes, as opposed to only 5% of anyone else. And 15%, and this is quite a frightening one, 15% have sleep apnea. Turn that off. It goes on again. Yeah, 15% have sleep apnea. I've got a mate who's just taken, just been diagnosed with sleep apnea, and fell asleep at a set of traffic lights. Jeez, you know. Went to the doctors and said, yeah, you got sleep apnea. Right, need to get that sorted. So some of the things that, you know, and it depends on the job that you're doing. But bear in mind, you're sat for long periods of time. And if you're rolling out cages out the back of the wagon, and if you're rolling out, you know, strapping loads down and shifting gear, handballing gear out the back yourself, then, you know, that's a more healthier type of trucking. But let's be honest, the vast majority of truck drivers don't do that. I certainly don't, and certainly anyone who's thinking about coming into containers is probably the least healthiest truck driving job there is. You've got 4 little handles around each corner of the truck that you have to do, and then you've got to open and close the doors, and that is it. That is it. So as a result of that, weight gain. You might come in like a stripped down racist snake, but I guarantee you'll start putting on a bit of timber. It's just not a healthy occupation. It's just not an occupation that's good for shifting weight, because you sat on your ass for the vast majority of the day. You have disrupted sleep patterns. Now, I had a lie in this morning, but I might get back to the yard this afternoon at around, I don't know, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, say. I might be up at 2 o'clock in the morning, ready to hit the road. You know, you don't know. So, you know, your sleep patterns are all over the place. You know, you're not, and you know, and it's proven that you need a regular amount of sleep per night to keep you healthy. So if you're one of these people that need 8 hours of sleep a night, day in, day out, forget it, because that ain't going to happen. You know, sometimes I get an hour and a half during the day, or an hour, and then 5 or 6 hours at night. It totally screws you up. Now, there is a formula. Stress plus anxiety equals depression. And it's unfortunate that we hear of a few truck drivers, and more so recently, topping themselves. And I don't want to. I just think that's so sad, terribly sad. There was a lad recently I was reading about, and he was only a young lad. He was younger than 30, and I think he had a family, and he did away with himself. And that is such a shame. You know, his family's got to bear the brunt of that for the rest of their lives. His kids.
Cross the roundabout and take the second exit, A5 road.
Truly is heartbreaking. But it's the nature of the job. It can be stressful. You can suffer from all forms of anxiety. I mean, I don't find the job. I must admit, I don't find the job stressful.
And take the second exit.
Because I'm old enough and stupid enough to say no. But there's a lot of people that won't say no. You know, they just will not say no. Keep on coming, son. And they get stressed with having to be somewhere at a certain time, and they're late and all the rest of it. If I'm late, I'm late. I don't care. It's one of those things. I ain't going to change it. So getting stressed about it is pointless. But that's just me. But I suffer from stress from things like parking late at night. Well, after 6 o'clock. I have parking issues, so I suffer from anxiety, and you know, and it affects me big time. It's like today, I'm quite happy because I know I'm going back to the yard, and that is it tonight. I'm either going to go on the dogs, and I'll be stopping in the yard tonight. I ain't going anywhere because I just won't get anywhere. So yeah, it does. You know, in depression, it's just destructive. So you know, you got to try and take steps to alleviate that the best you can, and that is not really easy. And as a result of all of that, you end up with mood swings. So you can be all, you know, sweetness and light, and then all of a sudden you're in a raging temper. Which is alright if you're in the truck on your own. Well, it's not alright, but you know, you're not affecting anyone else, are you? But you can't go home and take it out on your wife and kids, can you? It's just not how it works. And if you don't open up about it and you don't talk about it, the problem isn't going to go away, it's just going to get worse. Urinary infections. I know of blokes. When I was on the buses, there was a couple of blokes. We used to do long runs from Lymington into Bournemouth, and sometimes it would take nearly 2.5 hours. On a bad day, it'd take you 3 hours. and you'd sort of be more or less running out of time. And of course, you get down to Bournemouth, and the toilets in all directions would be shut or closed, or not shut for cleaning, or just out of order, or they wouldn't let you in. It's all sorts of different reasons. And of course, what do you do? Hold it, and then you get urinary infections, and the same for truck drivers as well. I know of blokes that have had it. I have a bottle on board, and I pee in a bottle. I pull over, pee in a bottle. I don't give a toss. Not making myself ill. Some people go, "Oh, it's gross." Well, yeah. Try having a urinary infection. See how gross that is. The other thing that can really, bug you up is your knee joints. If you'll continue, you might, as a young man, jumping on and off trailers and, climbing in and back and jumping out of the cab and all the rest of it. Yeah, it's fine while you're in your early 20s. You wait until you get to your 50s. Your knees will be swollen, you'll be in pain. I have bad back issues. I suffer with a bad back, and I often have muscular issues in my back as well. It's just because you did a lot of stupid things when you were young. You didn't realise you were ever stupid, but now you look back and you go, yeah, that was stupid. And it catches up with you. So really think about, climbing off the back of the trailer rather than jumping off. Because every time you jump off, you're doing a bit of damage. But one of the scariest things that I came across while I was having a look, so I was looking on Sunday purely and simply because on Saturday I felt like I just felt so rough. And it wasn't rough, it was just tiredness, like absolutely exhausted. Couldn't do anything, had a job to form a sentence. Gorgeous Kira got a bit worried about me, And it wasn't until Sunday that I felt better. And it sort of, it was fairly obvious that I was just tired. And truck driver life expectancy. Have a guess. Go on, before I tell you. Have a guess. Average age of a male, give or take. This is give or take a couple of years, so it's not, it's not set in stone. I'm just averaging it out roughly, give or take a couple of years either side. Life expectancy for a male, 78. Right, 78 years of age. That's doing any other profession other than truck driving. But a truck driver's life expectancy, you ready for this, and you sat down? A truck driver's life expectancy is 61. I'll just say that again, in case you didn't believe me. Truck driver's life expectancy is 61 years of age. You don't even get to retire. That scared the life out of me. It absolutely scared the life out of me. 61. Now I know I've only got a year and a half, 2 years absolute max to go. We're hoping it's going to be a lot less, but it's 2 years and Goat Boy will have finished uni. And then the pressure is off financially, we can up sticks and go. We might be able to do it sooner, depends whether the stars align or not, but so I know I'm only going to be doing this for the next 2 years, absolute max. So I can push it a bit, so I know I'm going to be able to recoup a bit of time once I've finished. But that's no guarantee that I'll even get to 16. That's no guarantee. I won't keel over in the next 2 years, or I might become ill as a result of doing what I do now. Who's to say? I don't know. This could be my last video. None of us know, do we? Let's be honest. I hope I haven't just prophesied my own demise. But, do you know what I mean? 61 years of age. So if anyone's procrastinating about retiring early, don't. Just do it. If you can afford to do it, do it. Because you're going to add a few more years to your life by calling it a day early. And if you're a youngster looking at this, looking at coming into it, think about it as it's a short term. Yeah, you can earn some good money if you get on with the right company and get the right sort of work. You can earn some good money. You know? You know how to put some ads in, but you're going to earn some good money. And if you're not earning good money, you're working for the wrong firm. It's that simple. So think long and hard about what you're doing and how you're doing it. I mean, I'm just thankful I don't smoke. Otherwise, I reckon I'd be pushing up daisies tomorrow. You know, I'm not healthy in any way, shape or form. I've put on loads of weight over the last 2 or 3 years. I've always been a big lad, but you know, I did lose a couple of stone about 3 years ago before I started on with this company. I'd lost 2 stone. And that's just purely simply through cycling. But since I've started on here, I haven't even been on my bike. I think I might have been on my bike a couple of times. That was about it. That nearly killed me. I was cycling not every day, but every other day, and some days I was doing 50 miles. So I've got to start looking after myself. I know that, and it's not easy. But somehow I've got to try and do it because I want to live a little bit longer. I've got things to do, you know. I've got to go across to France and wind them up a bit. Integrate myself into French society.
After half a mile, cross the roundabout and take the second exit, A5, towards Rugby.
And upset a few Frenchmen, especially when the rugby's on. I've got to do something. I'm not quite sure what. I'm not even quite sure how. To be honest with you, but I've got to look into it. Both myself and the gorgeous Sierra both said that we've got to do. You know, we've got to be a bit more healthier. Little steps.
Roundabout and take the second exit, A5, towards Rugby.
It's coming all round. So, yeah, some of those statistics, yeah, enough to scare the bejesus out of you, you know? So, yeah. Anyway, on that cheery note, I don't know. I mean, you know, I mean, I've pulled into places and there's truckers out with the bands doing, you know, the rubbery band type things. I've got some, you know, and doing stretches and using weights and shadow boxing and push-ups and running around how many times they can run around the yard. I've seen all that. Doesn't mean I'm going to start it. And I don't eat unhealthily. You know, I don't go out of my way to eat loads of chocolate and crisps and shit like that, because I don't at all. But I could eat better. I don't rarely eat burgers or anything like that, or you know, like McDonald's or Burger King, or I don't like. I think KFC is the devil's food anyway, so I don't touch that. So it's not like I'm, you know, fast food king. Far from it.
After a quarter of a mile, you're right on the roundabout and take the third exit, A428, towards Northampton.
But I could do a lot better. I think that's what we're trying to say, innit? So, what does truck driving do to your body? Right, it totally ruins it.
Go right on the roundabout
I think-
and take the third exit.
I think it's the bottom line. You know, it can ruin it. So stay safe and think about what you're doing. I think it's the moral of the story there, and that's myself included. I'm no saint, but I'm far from it. Far from it.
After 600 feet, cross the roundabout and take the second exit, A428.
And it's not just your shut up.
Second exit.
It's not just your physical health; it's your mental health, as we've talked about on many occasions. You know, and your mental health plays a huge part in your physical health. If you know, and ran that way. You know, if your mental health is absolutely tip top, you're more likely to go, yeah, I don't need to have that.
Right on the roundabout and take the third exit, A428, towards Northampton.
I don't need to have that chocolate bar as a bit of a pick me up, or a bit of a, you know, it's a reward for not killing anyone.
And take the
You
third
know?
exit.
That's the. You know, that's the trouble. But you sort of have a little chocky biscuit and you go, well, yeah, that's my reward for driving for 3 hours or driving for 4 hours. Or when I get to here, I'll have that and a cup of tea. That'd be nice. That's my reward.
After a quarter of a mile, go left on the roundabout and take the first exit, M1, towards the north. Then take the motorway.
So you sort of justify it to yourself. Because if you don't have it, it sort of pisses you off, doesn't it? Anyway.
Go left on the roundabout and take the first exit, then take the motorway.
I'm not too far away. Pile on up onto the motorway, and I'll probably see you when I leave this place. So I'll speak to you all later.